So in this video, we are going to dive into how you can double your conversion rates for your prospects inside of your email flows. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the abandonment flow. So things like abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, browse abandonment, or site abandonment. The reason this is important is because it's a really easy lift. This only takes about 10 minutes to implement the whole thing. And as I said earlier, it can double the conversion rates on your abandonment flows for your prospects. And now the reason why we really want to improve the rates on prospects, obviously we want to improve the rates on everyone, but prospects specifically, because once you can get somebody to purchase the first time, they are much, much more likely to come back and purchase from your brand again. So really what we're doing is we are inserting the welcome code discount throughout the abandonment flows. Now, most brands have a first-time purchase offer that they're running, 10% off when you sign up to our welcome flow, get a free gift with your purchase when you sign up to our welcome flow, anything like that. And so our goal with this is to reuse that code for those people that still haven't purchased. So most brands, they run that code in their welcome flow. It runs for a couple of days, and then after that, it disappears. Now, what we want to do is reuse that code with people that haven't purchased before and give them that code again to get them to purchase. Again, these are people that have never purchased with the brand before, so there's no harm in offering them this same discount to get them to come back and purchase. Now, we don't want to give this to people that have already purchased because it wouldn't really make sense. So it's really important that we set this up properly and do what's called a conditional split based on what people have done. So in order to do this, we're going to use Klaviyo, and I'm going to walk you through how you can quickly and easily add this into a flow. Now, before I jump in and show you how to do it inside of Klaviyo, I want to quickly show you what this looks like in practice. So this is an example of an email that is reusing the welcome offer in their abandoned cart. So typically, the product would be right here. You can't see it because this is just a preview, but we can see right here that it says get free shipping. Your welcome code is still live. Use free button at checkout. So this is a quick and easy way to reuse that welcome code, and we are putting it as a banner in the top of the email. Oftentimes, it will then get repeated down inside of the body. So one other quick example is using Olympia Provisions. So this is their standard abandoned checkout email. Again, the product shows up somewhere in here, and you can see that there's no code inside of this email because this is the one that's going to customers. Now, if we switch over to this email, we can see that it says your welcome code is active. Use code BetterMeats for 10% off your first order. It's up here, and then again down at the bottom of the email so that it doesn't get lost as someone is scrolling. And so this is kind of what it looks like in practice, and this has a huge impact on how these emails perform. Next, I want to show you what some of the results of this looks like. So this is an example of an abandoned checkout here. And so we can see how this has already been set up, and we'll go through how to do this a little bit more, but it has a conditional split based on how many products the person has ordered. So has ordered product at least once over all time. So we can see that the vast majority of these answers are no, which means they're going to come down this split here. So we can see that the placed order rate is still lower than customers, which makes sense. Also, this is considerably more people that are going through this, but we can see that this is actually still saying really, really high. And this is much higher than what you would see in a typical abandoned checkout flow. And that's why this is so powerful, because we can see that these conversion rates are still staying really high. So another example is this one here. We can see that yes, the customer one is still higher, but again, more people are going through here, and this is staying really, really high and really strong. So jumping into another example for an abandoned cart flow here, same thing. This is only a few percentage points lower than this. Customers are always going to purchase more frequently, right? These are people that already know the brand, trust the brand, have purchased from them before. But the fact that we're still getting this high of placed order rates is really, really great to see. One last example, and then I'm going to jump into how this is done. So we can see that this one here is actually beating the control, which is the customers, which is really rare to see, but it is happening, which is great. Again, we can see that this one has more people in here, but still. And then we can see it here. This one is beating, and then here and here. So the point I'm trying to make here is how strong this actually performs. And again, it's a really easy lift and a really useful way to increase your revenue and see an impact immediately. Okay, the next step is actually going into Klaviyo and adding this in. So this is just an empty account here to show you guys how to do this. It's honestly very simple. So create flow, build your own. I'm just going to do the abandon checkout sample. Okay, so next we want to set our trigger. So we're going to do checkout started right here. Profile filters, we want to make sure that we are leaving out anyone that has placed an order since starting this flow. What this is going to do is make sure that 0 times since starting this flow. So if somebody has started this flow and then they place an order, this flow will make, or this trigger will make sure to not bring them into the flow. So next up, we are going to add in our time delay. Typically, we want to do this in hours and do about 2 hours. You can even do this shorter and do an hour if you want. Now, the next part is the part that is really important here. So we want to do a conditional split. That's what this is here. I'll just do that really quick again. So there is this logic conditional split right here. And so this is what we want to use, and this is the really crucial part. And so what we want to do is base it on what someone has or has not done. And we want to do person has placed order at least once over all time. So what this is going to do, again, is somebody is going to enter this flow when they start their checkout. And then if they have placed an order at least once over all time, they will end up in this yes side. And if not, they will end up in this no side. And this is really what makes the magic happen. So in the yes side, you'll have your standard emails. Hopefully you already have this flow set up. So I'm not going to go into all of the details here. So really what we want to do is focus on this no side. So the easiest way and the easiest lift to take the standard abandoned checkout that you already have is to simply duplicate the emails that are already in your account. So right up here, there's this clone option. So once you clone these emails, you can bring them over to the no side. So these emails are now going to go towards prospects. I suggest naming something this like abandoned checkout email 1 prospects. Again, this will just help you remind you that this email is geared towards prospects. Also, you'll see that it likes to automatically check this. You absolutely do not want this turned on for your abandoned checkout emails. The reason is this will skip people that have recently been emailed. So imagine you send a campaign and then somebody goes to your website, adds something to their cart, starts checkout, and then leaves. Because of this little checkbox here, they will not get an email. So we suggest that these are never checked inside of abandonment flows specifically. So anyway, moving on, you want to just go ahead and click save. So now this split is going to go to people that have never purchased before. So this is where we can just come in here and click edit. You are inside of the email itself, inside of Klaviyo. Again, we are on the abandoned checkout email 1 prospects. I just have a blank email in here to kind of show what this would look like. So in theory, your products and images and header and everything are already going to be in here. So really what we want to do, and the easiest way to do this, is to come in and add a text block here at the top. So why we like it at the top is because it's going to be the first thing that people see. And so using a banner like this is a really great way to grab people's attention. So we can just come in and double click in here. And this is where we want to actually put in the offer that we are running. So let's just say it is use code, let's say take 15% off the products in your cart use code WELCOME15 at checkout. Now, we probably want to make this a little bit bigger so it gets people's attention. So we can do this 18. We can bold it here. We can center it so it looks a little prettier. The other thing that can really help on an email, if there are other colors in there, is to come in and add some sort of background color. Let's just go red here to really grab your attention. And maybe we would want to change this to something like white so it's not quite as aggressive. Now we can see that this is really going to grab somebody's attention when they come in here. Now, the other thing that I often like to do, as you saw in some of the other earlier examples, is take this and then also place it lower inside of the email. Again, this is just as somebody is scrolling. Now, imagining that this is a longer email with other text and images inside of it, you want to make sure that this is throughout the email so that somebody doesn't miss it. So this is as simple as it is. Cloning the email that you already have in your initial flow and creating the second split and adding in these sort of banners and email or text blocks throughout the email itself. So again, we are just looking at the abandoned checkout email. I also suggest doing this for the abandoned cart, browse abandoned, and site abandoned. So that wraps up how to implement a little trick to double your conversion rates on your prospects inside of your abandonment flows. This is a really easy lift. The whole thing takes maybe 10, 15 minutes to do and is a way that you can actually move the needle inside of the revenue that you're generating inside of your flows. Can't wait for you to try this. Drop a comment below and let me know how it goes for you. All right, bye.